Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Encrypted Connections. I am your host, Kyle, and to my that way is my co-host. What's your name, sir?
The Dooster.
The Deuster, Mr. Dewey Edwards, aka Dale Earnhardt. Uh, how's everybody doing tonight? Happy Wednesday evening, morning, afternoon, night, wherever you are in the world. I know we got at least one person here from the UK, my good buddy Fresh, who I was just on the phone with. He was the one that got me late, just so everyone knows.
Oh,
It wasn't my fault. It was all his. So blame it on him if I'm a couple minutes late because you know how he likes to talk. I'm just kidding. Uh, yes, just in case anyone's confused about things, let me clarify. My tagline tonight says I'm great at computer stuff because I am. I'm great at computer stuff. Uh, Fresh can actually co-sign this. We just went through this. How I was trying to make a new logo, and I'm trying to get new shirts and stuff done. And I'm so good at computer stuff that I made the logo on my phone. And when you make a logo on your phone, it makes it to the size of a phone, so it can't be printed properly on a shirt. Thank God I have a tutor in the UK who's on retainer for $9 a month, um, plus that British royalty tax, so that I can call him up and say, "Hey, I need your help with this computer stuff again." And he's there to answer the call. Are you any good at computer stuff, Dewey?
oh yeah, oh yeah.
Is that you're
Yeah, I
being
know.
sincere?
I built my own several times, and
Okay, well, don't show off.
in fact, I installed a new keyboard today.
Oh, see, I could probably do that.
Has more.
Installed, aka plugged in.
It has more buttons than a, a 2023 Cadillac. I'll never figure them all out. I'm afraid to push. One of them says self destruct, so I'm afraid of that one.
Why? So why does it have so many buttons? I mean, doesn't the keyboard just need the alphabet and then like the few other doodads on the board that the ones that say like control and tab and nobody knows what the hell they're for?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's got the little buttons where you can actually open up a web browser or things like that. We go back and forward, play your music with it and stuff. So
Oh, so it's got shortcuts on it basically.
I could have got one with all the buttons, but this was only $2 more, so I didn't got it.
Got to go with the deal, man. Got to go with the
Exactly,
deal.
exactly.
Um.
The old one was
well,
wore out. I couldn't even read the letters on the keyboard.
oh yeah, that'd be a problem for me.
I guess when you've written 9 books, I guess it just fingertips just wear the numbers off of it.
What, did we not just talk about showing off? I would have a problem with that. I still am not great at typing. I kind of have an idea of where things are, but like if they weren't there to double check, we'd have all kinds of problems with the titles for these shows. They'd be really really confusing. That's for sure. Um, yes, Hope. Actually, I did use Canva to make the logo. Sadly, I made it on my phone. I didn't realize there was any distinction. Like, make it on your phone, make it on a computer should be the same thing, right? No, that's not how it works. When you make it on your phone, it's sized for a phone. Yeah. So I didn't understand that. And apparently, we had been through this before, me and Fresh, and I didn't remember. So I got a bit of a tongue lashing in some weird foreign language that I didn't understand. But anyway, what are you smiling at over there, Dewey?
I was reading the chat. So,
Oh, what do we got going on here?
nothing much. I just didn't want to miss tell everybody hi. So
One of
kind
your
of
members,
catch them as they come in. And,
one of my members is a 17-year-old IT professional. Henry's showing off now too. 60 words a minute. All right, all right. Enough, everybody. Enough. We get it. You're all smart and talented. Oh God. Um, Felicia wants to know if anyone's going to the Cryptic Conference here in Lexington, Kentucky, November 18th and 19th. Dewey, you going to that one?
I'm not going to that one. I'm going to wait till next year and go when they supposed to release my my book and the documentary at the same time.
That's right.
I won't make it to this one, but we
That's
got a
right.
bunch of other stuff going on. We did do the ground penetrating radar at the
Yeah.
crash site the other day, and we did find a lot of stuff. It's
Yeah.
all underground. We found one spot where we're pretty sure it's where the plane landed, and where they moved the plane and buried everything with a dozer. It's 3 feet deep, according to the metal detector. Too deep for a couple of low collegers like me and the guys with me to dig. So we're gonna meet out there after Thanksgiving and get a mini excavator, and we're gonna do some digging.
Oh,
So
that's
find some.
awesome. That's exciting.
I think Seth's supposed to be there. He was supposed to film part of it, and I'm gonna have a few cameras set up too, try to catch it from a couple, 3 different angles. So
Oh
it'll
man,
be well documented. So
that's really exciting. I'm sure you're really pumped about that.
oh yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually, Joe had, well, we talked about it. Joe texted me and he was like, man, Dewey's a pimp. He's like, we needed someone to fill in on that documentary last minute, and Deuster came to the rescue. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. He had no preparation. He came in. He did a great job. And I said, what did you doubt the guy? I mean, do you know who you're talking about? Come on.
Oh, it was fun. It was fun.
Yeah, they said they had a great time. Alex said the same thing. He said he just had such a good time with you guys when you went out talking to your wife or whatever.
Yeah, that was fun. It was fun.
Yeah,
I wish
they're
we could
good.
spend more time with them, but everybody was going different directions, and some were interviewing Joe and Jesse, and some interviewing me, and some interviewing Martin and Daryl, and just everybody was scattered everywhere. So, but I think everybody got a good taste of it. I think.
Yeah, for sure. They're just all of them are such great folks. That's the thing, right? Like I was just talking. I was saying
They
it to
are.
Joe last night. I was like, it stinks because I don't have people around me that go out and do these things on a regular basis enough. I wish I lived closer to some of you guys because I know that I could get you guys to go out and drag you out to go do these things, on a semi-regular basis. Well, I wouldn't have to drag Joe and Jesse. They'd probably be the ones dragging me. But I said the thing about Alex is always down to do this stuff. I mean, he truly has a passion for it, even when he's not doing anything for Small Town Monsters. Like he comes home and he's ready to go back out. The problem is that he's so busy. It's like he only lives 2.5 hours from me. That's nothing, but he's so busy that it's hard to get to tie him down.
Oh, it is. It really is. We were going to try to do it before Thanksgiving, but they're tired. I guess all the kids are all out for a Thanksgiving break. So I guess they're going to be tied up with the kids until after Thanksgiving. So we got a choice of Friday or Saturday, and we're going to shoot for Saturday. So I mean Sunday, Friday. So maybe the weather will be nice where we can do something maybe.
Oh, there you go.
But it was so neat, that ground penetrating radar. I didn't realize how sensitive it was. We knew from the witnesses' testimony and everything that when they picked the plane up and put it on a truck or 2 trucks and actually drove out to the road, well, they had to cut a section of fence to get the truck out of the field, into the field and out. And of course they left big deep ruts, according to the witnesses, left big ruts in the field. And the ground penetrating radar picked up those ruts. We went north and south with it, and the tracks were going east and west, and we found the ruts that had actually cut into the field, and they were actually the width of a truck, like a deuce and a quarter. And we did find where there's new growth in the fence row where they had cut the old trees down to make room for them to go out, and the fence had been replaced with what we call hog panels. So we know and we were directly in line with the crash site, so we got them nailed down pretty good.
Nice.
Spent a lot of time there metal detecting, and it was a good day, a great day.
Well, that's awesome. I can't wait to see what you guys dig up. I can only imagine what might be in there.
Yeah, I know it's gonna be exciting. I got to build a couple of I guess sifter boxes, I guess, to
Sure.
throw stuff in, and I got to come up with something on that. But I'll probably start building that tomorrow, probably.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, for the smaller parts and bits and bobs or
Yeah.
whatever. Man, imagine if you get in there and you start digging stuff up and you get some kind of crazy radiation hit on some of these. Oh God.
Yeah, I'm gonna have my Geiger counter close by.
Yeah.
I checked a few spots on the site the other day when we were there, and the most I got was, I think, 32, 33 counts per minute. But if stuff's 3 feet deep, it's not gonna read too much, So
Right. Yeah.
once we get it on top of the ground, then we'll see what it checks out to be.
Right. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Jody, I kind of I read that too. Yeah, I think probably I'm not going to call you to babysit if I have kids at some point. You're tying the kids up is what you said. Might not want to type that in on a social media site. Just saying. I mean, to each his own. Like, it's cool. I'm not sure what these kids are like, but maybe some kids probably do need a little tying up. But it just might be some people watching. You never know. Just saying.
Yeah, exactly. You never know.
Right. You just don't know. So Hope said that they should get me a Nokia. Well, now it's my turn. Just so everybody's aware, this phone right here, well, let's do this first. Let's get that out of there. This cracked, broken iPhone that's old and just terrible is about to be a thing of the past, folks. Yep, that's right. The phone gods blessed me with a new phone.
Wow.
And so I am going to be offing this thing. I may even have some kind of celebration where I drop it off a bridge, or maybe like run it over with a bulldozer, or I'm not sure. But we'd do something for it, something nice for it, where we destroy it in a very violent way. Yeah, so it's gonna be upgraded. Probably Saturday I'll go and get it all done. But suffice to say that the live streams and everything in the woods will be just, I would imagine, much, much, much better. I have to switch from Apple back to Samsung, but that's okay. I'm good with it. I'm completely happy with it. To have a brand new S23 is, I'm good. We're good to go.
There you go.
So, Fresh said cash it in. It's worth $8.
There you go.
So that'll almost cover my retainer fee for the month for you, Fresh.
I'm running the old Samsung Note 10. It does a pretty good job.
Yeah, that's a nice phone. That's a very nice phone.
It was a hand-me-down from my wife. She got her new iPhone, and she got her actually an Apple Watch, and then had to have a new phone to go with it because her Android wouldn't sync up with it. So,
well, no, they don't.
I got
usually.
the Android. She got a new iPhone. If you want to really get rid of a phone, take it to Target and leave it in your shopping cart.
Oh yeah.
And let some crackhead come along and pick it up. But be sure you wipe it out first before you do. That happened to us. That's why she got a new phone.
Well, yeah. Probably said it's a good idea at that point to get a new one.
But you need to wipe it out first. I mean, we still have to go in and change a few passwords. They're not supposed to be able to get into it, but we've had a few little weird things that went on since then. So we've changed. We did our credit cards and everything. Not our credit cards, but our bank cards. We got all them redone. Got new numbers and all, and got the old ones took out. So hopefully we got to take care of everything.
Oh, well, I hope so. But we do need to rewind just a bit here and go back to the fact that Dee tried to sync a Samsung to an Apple Watch.
I don't know if he didn't communicate or not. You have to everything has to go through the Apple Store or the iCloud or whatever, And
Right. Yeah.
I don't care that much about that. So.
Oh gosh. Good point. What does that say? Haha, there aren't any yet. Good point. NDA and Root Connolly. Non-disclosure agreement for what? About what? What are we talking about? I'm lost. Can we yes, please. Yeah, actually, that's right. I like the way that Fresh words it. Can we please have a we twerk on the love button? So that basically means, can you please press the like button? But a we twerk on the love button sounds much better. So go give a we twerk on the love button, please. Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications so you know when we're doing this thing, even though that stuff doesn't work most of the time.
It doesn't give me the option, so I go in before the show starts and click like before I get into it. And then
yeah, that's what I usually do too. I just do it right before the show. It's much easier. So anyway, let's chat. Let's talk about this. So I was watching a show the other day, and wasn't even a show. I caught a short on YouTube, and it was this guy. His name is Paul Rosalie, and he is I guess he's a conservationist. He dropped out of high school and knew that he wanted to work with animals and in the forest. He just knew that's what he wanted to do. He loved Steve Irwin and what the hell? What was her name? The lady who did the monkeys, that spent time with the monkeys in the woods for all those years. How come I can't think of her name right now?
The one that's on Expedition Bigfoot.
No, God, not that Joker.
Okay.
No, she lived in the jungle with apes and gorillas and chimpanzees. Jane Goodall.
Jane from Tarzan.
Yes, Jane from Tarzan. But so these were his idols, and he knew that that's what he wanted to do. His parents said, you know what, like he struggled in school and he had dyslexia, so they said, you know what, drop out, get your high school diploma, and then pursue what you want to do. You're going to have to go to college, but at least in college you can do things your way. And so that's what he did. And basically he's traveled the world trying to find new species and save, rainforests and all these things, trying to make the natural planet a better place to live. So he spent a bunch of time down in Peru in the rainforest. And in this section of the rainforest, we're talking about like not a section of the rainforest where people go to visit on vacation, right? This is like native tribe. Nobody's there except for them. And so he made his way there, and he got very close with the tribe, with the local people there, who've obviously lived there their whole lives, generation after generation. And they started showing him the way of the jungle and the way things worked in the forest. And he just was so absolutely taken back by how vast this place was and how the rainforest is such a different beast. It is literally a daily death march. There is more death happening around you in the rainforest at any given moment than anywhere else on the planet. It is a battleground 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. On top of that, 50% of the life in the rainforest is in the canopy. It's above them. Yeah. They don't. So there's things up there that don't have names. I mean, there are animals in the canopy that don't have names. They've not been discovered yet because some of these trees are so massive, and these people can't get up there. The monkeys won't let them up there. They'll keep them down. If not, you get a jaguar that's going to attack you on your way up, or you get bit by a poisonous bug or a snake, it's just dangerous. So anyway, he's there, and one of the things he wanted to do is he wanted to study the giant anacondas. And this is the place on planet Earth where these things reside. The biggest ones in the world are in this part of the jungle. And so they go out, and he goes out with one of the guys there. And the guy's father is the head of this whole community of people, right? And so he goes out with the guy's son, and they're going and they're catching anacondas, and they take a picture with this 16 or 17 footer, and he brings it back and he shows the elder, and the elder laughed, and he said, that's a baby. That's baby anaconda, smallest snake I've seen. And they're like, what? This thing's 16 feet long. It's huge. They knew it wasn't the biggest anaconda in the world, but it was big. And so they were proud of it. And this guy laughs at him and says, no, that's nothing. He says, if you want to find the real giants, you need to go to the floating forest. And they don't let people go there regularly because of what it is and how dangerous it is. But he said, I give you permission to go. And so there was a group of them. I think it was like 5 of them. They go way, 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 way out into this rainforest until they find this part of it they called the floating forest. And what it was, they got there, it was nighttime. And so as they get up, they see that the sky and all the stars are reflecting off the ground. So they're like, oh crap, this is all water. But in the water, there was grass, and there were these floating islands of grass on this patch of lake or whatever. And there were trees that were growing out of this lake, but only half of them or a quarter of them were sticking out of it. The rest of the tree was underwater. And he's like, it was one of the craziest places I've ever seen in my life. In between these pieces of floating grass, there were paths that were kind of woven. And when they, like, as they're walking, one of the guys tells Paul Rosalie, he goes, shh, they're listening. And he's like, what are you talking about? They're listening. They don't have ears. And he said, they're listening. And then he points to the path, and Paul says, that's a 2 to 3 foot wide path. There's no way a snake made that. And the guy looks at him and he said, they did, and they're here. And so they continue walking, and at the same moment, they both see this thing at the same time. He said he saw the color rush out of his friend's face, and he said he felt that tingly feeling in his arms and his face when he saw this thing. And he goes, it had to have been between 25 and 30 feet long. And he goes, and it was so big. The only thing that he thought to himself was, I have to catch this snake. Because if I catch this snake and I can prove to people that there are snakes this big out here, I will be able to save whatever forest I want once they see this. And so this nutcase jumps on this snake's back, tries to wrap his arms around it, and he can't wrap his grown man arms all the way around the girth of this snake. Okay? That's how big this thing was. Paul Rosalie's not a small guy. I mean, he's like, he's not huge, but he's not a small guy. He's like 5'11". So, he should have been able to wrap his arms around any snake on the planet, and he couldn't. And this thing, to its credit, did not try to kill him. Its head was right there, and it didn't turn around and bite him. It didn't wrap him up. It just took off, and it went off and over and into the dark of the water. And he's thinking in his head, I have 2 choices here. Either I hold on and go into the water with it, which, nope, that's not a good choice. Or I just loosen my grip and I let my hand run over this thing's whole body as it escapes me. And that's what he did. And he said, 25 to 30 feet long, he goes in, and how big around that I couldn't touch my hands together when I had my arms around it. I mean, think of the girth of a snake that large. That is a true monster. And he said that the people who live there swore to him that there were snakes much larger than that in that area. And he believes them. So I'm sitting there and I'm watching this and I'm going, holy crap, that is insane. I mean, that brings reality to a different place of what's possible, right? If they're seeing a 25 or 30 foot long snake that he can't wrap his arms around, And the people who've lived there their whole lives are telling him they're bigger than that here. There were like, there's obviously fables about there being 60-foot snakes. That's kind of more folklore, but realistically, he said, like the people that he talked to down there have told him that 30 to 40 feet is possible. And that would be a very old snake, and they would definitely be living out in that floating forest. But when you think about that and you think along those lines, if that's possible, then what else is, right? So it led me down that whole rabbit hole of these like mysterious creatures of the world. And like one of them that I have such affinity for is the Tasmanian tiger, the thylacine. This thing was supposed to have gone extinct in the 40s, right? 40s or 50s, something like that. The
1939.
1936. 1936. Okay. So the last one or two were in captivity, and then, they died apparently. But there have been people who have sworn they've seen these things over the course of the years since then. And very recently, like over the last 5 or 6 years, there have been many reports of sightings, and also a couple very, very questionable pictures of what potentially could be a Tasmanian tiger. What do you think? Do you think that there's a possibility that some of these things could still be alive out there?
Yeah, I think so. I believe it could be. Yeah, that anaconda was 33 feet long, and it 3 feet across at its widest point, and it's estimated weighed 880 pounds.
Yeah, come on.
The one on the internet, they supposedly died in an explosion. Yeah, if I'd have saw it, it would have died in an explosion of some kind. Would not try to ride its back.
33 feet long.
33 feet long.
How big across?
3 feet at its widest point.
3 feet.
A little over 9 feet in circumference.
In circumference, yeah. That is massive.
It is.
Massive. That could swallow you and me and still have room.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that is insane. So that's why I'm saying, like, it makes me think, like, if there's possible that a quote unquote real animal that science recognizes can get to be that big, when most people would say no, that's not possible, then there's so many of these other things that just could be possible, right?
Oh yeah.
That the thylacine could remain hidden in small numbers in the Australian outback. I mean, that's not a very far-fetched thing.
No, it's not.
You're talking about a very, very vast area, many places to hide, and again, something built perfectly to live there. If you ever saw a picture of one of these things and you superimposed it into a background of the Australian outback, it would almost disappear. Just the coloring and the camouflage, the stripes and all that. I mean, it would almost disappear. You wouldn't be able to see it. And they're a predator. That's not a prey animal. They're a predator. That right. Thing is not anything hunting that. It's out there, ambushing prey and keeping its distance and doing what predators do. They talk about there not being mountain lions in the Northeast. I can tell you 100% there are mountain lions here in Connecticut. 100%. And the DEP will tell you no, there's not. But there are. I've seen tracks. I've seen scat. It's not bobcat. These tracks are double the size of a bobcat track. And it's not canine, because canine tracks don't have retractable claws. Their claws are always out when they make a print. Only felines have clawless tracks because they retract their claws when they're walking. Right. So these things have places to hide. That's the point. It doesn't matter where you go, where you are. There's stuff out there that we just don't know. Places we haven't gone and we won't go ever. Think about. If you've been to some pretty crazy places throughout your travels. Some pretty heavy wooded areas, driving through the countryside. When you look around and all you see is woods, what's the first thing you think?
I'm usually thinking like, what is in the woods looking out at me? I mean, something is
Exactly.
there. Something is there.
Exactly. And that's what I thought when I went to New Hampshire. I looked at Alex and I said, man, if there was ever a doubt that these things, these Bigfoot, these Sasquatch weren't real, I would tell somebody, come take a ride up on these roads up here and look around you, and then tell me you don't believe that they could stay hidden. Because
we were in a LBL this past weekend. We interviewed with Seth on his new documentary, and we were driving between Cadiz, Kentucky, and the land between the lakes, and we were just had crossed over the river. And I just happened to glance off to my left, and there was a pickup truck sitting over on a little service road, and it was either probably Kentucky wildlife. So anyway, I just happened to wonder what's he doing sitting there like that. So I looked back across the field, and there was this big black creature in the middle of the field. I mean, it is big. First thing I thought of may have been a black bear, but it was actually bigger than that, and it was about the size maybe of a buffalo, but the coloration wasn't right. This thing was jet black, and the buffaloes in the LBL are kind of a medium brown, was maybe some black mane, and but we went down the road and turned around and came back, and trying to get a second look at it. And by that time, the creature was gone. We went down maybe a mile down the road to turn around and come back to do a flip flop. There's a divided highway either side of it, and this was about the 6.5 mile marker on Highway 6880, and so we made a flip flop and went back. And by that time, the creature was gone, and the ranger was walking out across the field toward where this thing was at. So we go on past it. I slowed down, and I wanted to get a good picture, but the thing had already gone. So we went up another mile up the road and turned around, made another flip flop, and came back. And I looked, and he had already covered the edge of the field, and he was in the edge of the woods at the time. And I don't know, like I said, if it was a bear, I don't know if I'd be wanting to walk behind the bear, chase the bear into the woods,
Yeah.
or buffalo either, actually, But I have no idea what it was. I tried to find a park ranger the whole time we were down there to ask him, surely it called come over the radio or something, And I couldn't find anybody to answer my questions. I did finally get a hold of somebody at the forestry division. And I asked him about it. He said, well, we have buffalo get out all the time. I said, well, it may have been, but the coloration wasn't right. And, I hadn't seen a solid black buffalo down here,
Yeah.
And he says, well, maybe it was her resident Sasquatch. And I said, now you're talking.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
But he says, well, good luck on that. So he went one direction, I went the other, got in the truck and drove off.
It's these people say it kind of in jest when they say these things, like maybe it was our resident Bigfoot, but there's a lot of truth that's said in jest. I think that people are afraid to just say, like, hey, it's possible it was a Bigfoot. They don't want to say it out loud that way, because then they don't know what you're going to think of them. But
he looked around before he said it.
Yeah, of course he did.
Was standing by.
Of course he did. It was, I mean, that's similar to that when I went to go visit Mike in the Catskills, right? We go out for the weekend, and we're out in the woods, we're out in the mountains, and we're doing our little investigating or whatever. I drive home at night on a Sunday night. It's cold. I mean, I don't remember how cold it was. It had to have been upper 20s, right? It was not warm. It was probably about 28 degrees outside. It was a Sunday night. It was just like the only light that was left. That's a dope shirt.
Yeah, Jules was asking about it, what the rest of the shirt said.
That is a cool shirt.
Last year.
That's a very cool shirt. And so I'm driving down the highway. It's not a very major highway, but it's a highway. It goes through Connecticut. It's kind of the back in like the middle of the state or whatever. And Sunday night, the only light that's out is the twilight. And I look across, so I'm traveling south. I look across the northbound highway, and there's a hill that goes up, and it's the power lines, the high tension power lines. And at the top of that hill, all I see, backlit by the very little bit of twilight that's there, are these two large silhouettes standing side by side on the top of that hill. And it was clear. I mean, it was clear as day. They were the same exact size. You could see head, you could see shoulders, you could see arms, you could see legs. That's all you could see. They were just black. And I damn near slammed the brakes on the highway. And so I end up getting off the next exit, turning around and going back. And I try to, see where they were. And they're not there anymore. There was no car parked on the side of the road. There was no work trucks anywhere around. So what the hell was it? What was it? I mean, of course it could be people, but why? Yeah. Why would there be two people 28 degrees outside on a Sunday night up on the high tension power lines on the side of a highway, and then they're gone within 3 minutes? They're gone. It would have taken them longer than 3 minutes to walk down that hill if their car was parked on the side of the road. So where did they go? These are those things. And that's what I mean. Like, that wasn't in a super heavily forested area, remote area or whatever. There was woods around, but whatever that was, people or not, they disappeared pretty quickly and easily. So it just makes it much easier to understand how easy it would be for any of these creepy weird things that are out there to just come and go and hide when they want to. I've never personally seen a mountain lion, even though I know they're around. I've seen evidence of them, but I've never seen one. Thank God. I don't really want to see one.
We have a black panther who runs up and down our road every once in a while. I haven't seen it in about a year and a half. Neighbors see it pretty regular. They kind of keep a watch out for it. I did get it on my security camera at one time, but it was just so blurry you could hardly make it out. I don't have the best quality cameras out there. I need to upgrade them, I guess. But my neighbors have seen it. My neighbor across the street has a picture of it that he got while he was sitting on a tractor mowing a field next to it, and it jumped over a 10-foot ditch like it wasn't nothing. And he made a couple of pictures of it. So they said, "Wow, I'm supposed to have it on video," and she's supposed to be sending it to me, but so far I haven't got it yet.
Yeah, it's crazy. Joe wants to know what's in the case back there, Juicer.
He knows what's in that case. He saw it the other night.
Now I want to know what's in that case.
You want me to show it?
Yeah, show it. What do you got?
It won't violate any YouTube rules or anything with it.
Well, I don't know what's in the case. I have no idea what it'll violate.
10 millimeter.
Show it. We're good. Show it. We're good. Yeah, I want to see this thing. Just don't fire it.
I'm not going to fire it.
Ladies and gentlemen, what you're about to see is only for educational purposes only. Yeah, baby.
I put the green laser and the flashlight on it since you saw it.
Oh, yeah, baby.
But that's in the case. It's a spare magazine and a loader.
That got me excited.
That way I can lock it up, keep it in the truck when I go to LBL.
Yeah, that's
case. They're going to have a search warrant to open that case up to look at it and see what's in it. So,
is that Smith & Wesson?
Do what?
Smith & Wesson?
Yeah, Smith & Wesson M&P Model 2.
Nice. Very nice. Desk pop.
Do what?
Desk pop. Oh, God, that's so classic. Have you ever seen the movie with Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg called The Other Guys, where they were cops?
Yeah.
And remember, he told him, do your first desk pop, and he shoots the gun at the desk into the ceiling. And he's like, you did my first desk pop. I did my first desk pop. And the whole place is like, what the hell are you doing? Yeah, desk pop. That's great. What's up, Mike Ann? How you doing, brother? Jody says she wants to see the Panther when you get it. I want to see it when you get it too.
Oh yeah, me too. I'm trying to find it.
What light is on that?
It is get what it says.
6-ray tactical light laser combo. Okay, very nice.
It may fly
600,
apart the first time I shoot the gun. I don't know, but so far it looks pretty solid.
600 lumens. That's pretty bright.
Yeah.
For a pistol light, that's pretty
It's
good.
supposed to have a 125 meter. We'll find out. We'll see.
Yes, that Fresh says that's sexual. I agree. That is a sexual gun. Matter of fact, I was just talking to my buddy about that the other day. I was at his house. He came out with me in the woods last week just to scout a couple new locations or whatever. And he's not into this stuff, but he was curious. He wanted to see what it was all about. And he's a big gun guy, and he was showing me his arsenal or whatever, and I was talking to him about like how I really want to get a 10 millimeter now. That's really what I want, because obviously, like, I got the 9 millimeter prior to like thinking about what I was going to need when I went in the woods. And I'm not a gun collector. I probably could be very easily. The problem is that guns are not a cheap collection.
They're not.
It's an expensive hobby, so not something I can invest a whole lot into right now. I get what I need and that's it. But I'm thinking about potentially maybe selling off a couple things that I got and then buying a 10 millimeter, because man, that thing is like he was showing me some of his stuff the other day, and I was like, wow, it's such a huge difference. The ammo in that thing is just so nasty. How's the recoil on a 10 mil? Mike wants to know.
I have not fired this one yet. I'm waiting on to get a good weather day to get out and shoot a few. I have a little range I built into my outbuilding, and I hadn't found anything. I don't think a 223 will even shoot through it. I took a landscape timbers, and I took an old doorway out of my building, the back building. Took a doorway out, and I put landscape timbers, stacked them up. And then back behind the landscape timbers, I have 1 inch thick UHMW high density board. That we worked in the meat packing plant. They'd use them until they get scratched up some. USDA would make them, take them out, because they harbor bacteria. So we just piled them out back in the old building, and then we got enough to do that with. I hauled a bunch of them to the house and put them in it. And then I have a 1/4 inch steel plate behind that too. So I don't think anything I've got is going to go through it. I shot my 40 caliber through it, and it just went through, and the ball just fell in the bottom. It didn't go anywhere, so it didn't go through.
Jeez,
so it takes a lot to penetrate that 1 inch thick UHMW.
I bet. Yeah. Holy cow. E-Rev says, I don't know what it's called. I just know the sound it makes when it takes a man's life. Yes, that's right.
And that's a loud sound too.
Yeah, right. Hey, Mama, how you doing? Thank you for joining. Yeah, 10 millimeter ammo is available. Like Joe says, it's pricey, but it's there.
It's pricey.
But I mean, it's worth it when you're out there in the woods and you got all these critters around you. If you got to stop something, it's got the stopping power. Now, do you rotate your ammo? Do you like Alex rotates his ammo, where he'll put in what the hell did he have in his gun the other day? Something that was I think it was hollow points, and then what the hell was that other one called? Bores.
Full metal jacket.
No, it was called Bores something. I forget what it was, but the idea, huh?
Ball ammunition.
No, the idea was basically the first one is to penetrate something big, right? And then the second one is you fire back into that same area, hopefully, and once it gets in there, it finishes the job. Is the idea of it. I've never rotated. I always kept the same ammo in my gun. It was always just hollow points or whatever. But
yeah, I've got one magazine with full metal jacket, and then I've got the other one with hollow points.
Yeah.
I keep hollow points in my 9 millimeter all the time. unless I'm target shooting. But
yeah, buffalo boar. That's it. Right. Exactly, Joe. That's what he had. Buffalo boar. And he said that buffalo boar stuff was like 800 pounds of stopping power or something, which is just seems ridiculous to me. 800 pounds of stopping power. That he said, he goes, it's meant to take down grizzly bears.
Wow.
Uh-huh. Yeah, exactly. But we were out there, we had moose out there. So it was like, we knew we had to have something. I'm running around with this little 9mm going, what's this thing going to do? It's going to tickle that thing. It's not going to bother it that much. Probably not enough to stop it, just to piss it off. They're already ornery bastards anyway. I didn't need any extra pissing off of those moose to have them come charging at you.
I heard that.
1,500 feet from camp, man. There were 3 of them between 1,500 and 1,800 feet from our camp. One was a giant male with a monster rack on him. And I kept thinking to myself when we went to bed that night, if this thing decides to come into this camp, he would have destroyed everything. He would have destroyed the trucks, I'm sure. He would have trampled every one of our tents. Even though if you watch Brian's video on the trip, you'll notice that I didn't need anyone trampling my tent. The very first night that I was there, I woke up in the morning with my tent 3 feet away from where it started, and half of the back was collapsed. No idea how. I was on my bed still. Wasn't like I fell off the bed and made the tent half fall.
Wow.
So we still have no clue how that happened. But he filmed in the morning, walked around the tent like 3 times, laughing to himself, looking at it, going, "Wow, how the hell did this happen?" Yeah.
You didn't have beans for supper, did you?
No, I did not. Yeah, that could have done it though. I could have done it. I need an adventure hat, Joe says. What kind of adventure hat do you think I need? I wore Alex's Stetson for like an hour one of those days. That's why I took the picture for the thumbnail for my video. I was like, I'm using that as the picture. It's a really comfortable hat, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
It's a really comfortable hat. But yeah, I don't know if I belong in those hats. I'm not quite sure that it fits me. I've thought about it. Maybe I should just buy like a cool kind of adventure hat, a Indiana Jones hat or something, and just say, screw it. Like, I'm just going to wear it and that's that. And that'll be my thing. But if you have ideas for an adventure hat that I should wear, please put them in the comments, or actually you can just put them in the chat and then we can vote on which hat Kyle should buy to wear from here on out when he's on his adventures.
Go out and go to the store and just try a bunch of them on, make a bunch of pictures, and you can post them on here, and we can have a poll and vote which one we like the best.
I don't even know where I'd go. We don't have a whole bunch of stores around here that have adventure hats. I live closer to the city, right? So there's not a whole lot of adventure hat stores around here. Does like Bass Pro have those kind of cool hats? They gotta have them, right?
Yeah, Amazon's got some neat ones.
Amazon probably does.
That's where my wife got this one at Amazon. She picked this one out.
I don't know what size I would wear though. It'd be have to be like one size fits all Cro-Magnon men. That's probably what size I wear.
This one was I think a large, but I could have probably wore a medium. They come with these little things you can put inside the band inside to make them fit, so I could have used one size smaller probably, but
we're getting some really good ideas. Joe first says a tricorner. I'm not sure what that is. I think
Paul Revere wore, maybe.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, the British are coming. Fresh says a beret. Shannon says I can take off the Kansas City hat. But listen, just so we're aware, if you're not sure yet, my name is Kyle Connolly. Kyle Connolly, KC.
Hey, neat.
That's why I wear the Kansas City hats.
Okay.
Right? How many of you have your own hats with your initials on them? Just saying.
Did you see Shannon? Did you see Shannon's last name?
Edwards. Yeah, is that your daughter?
That's my daughter.
Oh, all right. So I'm
That's
giving
my
her a hard
firstborn.
time. I'm giving her a hard time. It's your daughter.
I give her a hard time too.
Don't give me no buck out there, Miss Shannon. That's why I wear the hat. I'm not a Kansas City fan. It's my initials. I've worn them since I was a teenager because
There
it's
you
like,
go.
yeah, it's got my initials on and I'm wearing it.
That is neat.
So what else we got? World War I fighter pilot helmet like Snoopy, like one of those leather ones.
Hey, yeah.
That an old mob boss hat, possible.
I've
But I don't
got it.
know that that's an adventure hat. That's more like a murder hat, right?
What about the hat like Cousin Eddie wore on Christmas vacation when he was emptying out the?
Wasn't that like the old like leather fighter pilot helmets? Isn't that what
Yeah.
that was? Yes, yes. Yeah, what a great movie that is. We'll become actually that should be playing soon on your
Yeah, it
cable,
should, yeah.
local streaming or cable channels. That's such a classic. I love that movie. But yes, bucket size is right. One of the Scottish golfer hats, that's a good one. A Robin Hood hat with a feather, badass.
Yeah.
Old-fashioned driving helmets. Man, you guys are coming up with some really good ones. This is great. Top hats. There's 3 people saying a top hat.
Crocodile Dundee hat with Bigfoot toenails instead of gator teeth.
Listen, if you can find Bigfoot toenails, I'll absolutely do that. Get one of those beer helmets with the straw. I'll wear one of those beer helmets every time I go out into the woods with the straw, and I'll fill it with beer too every time I go out. How's that?
Boy, you stay hydrated that way.
Yeah, listen, it'd be like, the worst adventuring Bigfoot investigating channel on there because I don't drink. So 2 beers that I'd probably end up chugging pretty fast because I drink a lot of fluid throughout the day, but I don't drink alcohol much at all. Once a year maybe. So 2 beers and I'd be heavily buzzed, and then it would be the show would the whole adventure would be like it would turn into something completely different. I'm a very happy drinker, by the way, just in case anyone's wondering. I'm very, very pleasant when I drink. I just don't drink often. Like once a year is for something special, I'll have like a glass of wine or a couple beers or something, but that's it. Beer hat.
Whole time I drink if I'm alone or with somebody.
Yes. There you go.
I take that back.
There you go. Yeah. I might have a pamphlet for you, Dewey, that you might want to look at.
Here's my drink, water.
Salty says the worst or the best. It's all about perception. Yeah, that's right. It could be fun. It really could be. I just don't know that YouTube would like it too much if I'm out in the middle of the woods with a gun in my backpack and beers strapped to my head. That'd probably be bad. So we got a lot of hat options. I'll have to look into these and see what I like. I did think the Stetson didn't look too bad on me. I just don't know if it's quite my style. I feel like I'm a poser if I wear that thing, I don't know. It looked okay, but I felt like, yeah, people are going to be like, what is this guy doing? He doesn't belong in one of those hats. Excuse me. I got something on my screen here. What the hell is that? It's an anomalous creature. All right. Anyway, let's get back to this creature stuff. We get off topic quick here, don't we? God, man.
Yeah.
It's all the chat's fault. And they're still going with the hats. You know how women do their hair in a towel? Could be a new look for you, Kyle. Yeah, and I don't know about that one. I need a hat. Actually, that's what I need. I need a hat from D. I need to have D make me a hat.
A nice cowboy hat would be nice too.
Does she make cowboy hats?
No, but she buys them for me. Now she's working on a logo on a ball cap for you, I'm thinking.
Is she?
Yeah, I think so.
She doesn't have to do that.
I know it involved a white rabbit. I do remember that, but other than that, I can't divulge any more trade secrets.
Oh, I love her. I literally just made up some like quick logos today because I want to start doing the shirts again. I know there's not a ton of people. I don't have 15,000 subscribers like some people out there do, you know.
Yeah.
Holler. You know, those mid-tier local Bigfoot celebrity types, you know how those folks are.
My channel has like 56 subscribers, maybe. You know,
it's it's
I go
all
for
about
quality, not quantity.
that's right. It's all about quality, not quantity. Right. That's right. Absolutely. She does make good stuff for sure. Once I saw the hats, I was when you put them up, the Hellbent hats or whatever. I was like, oh, I got to get.
She is
something
a
made.
perfectionist at that.
Yeah, she does great work. Hey, Brian and Chewy, what's up? We were just talking about the tent situation out there. The anomalous broken tent that was 3 feet. I think I might have gotten abducted during the middle of the night. Potentially probed. We're not sure yet. I don't know why there's such a fuss about the probing thing either. Like, you know, didn't make me mad if it happened, but I'm assuming it always happens. If you get abducted, you get probed. That's just the way it goes. What do you got there? I saw you grab something.
I'm gonna start a new product line.
All right, what is it? Oh, I love it.
A Bigfoot hood ornament. Will this look good on front of your truck?
Put that. I'm gonna weld that on the front of my Prius.
Well, my nephew he's got a plasma cutter. He cuts them out of metal, and he can make them 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot, even up to 8 feet tall if you wanted one, you know. But I had him make me up some of these, and I almost sold out of them at the fall festival a few weeks ago.
That
I had
is
2 left,
awesome.
I think.
I love it. I would, I'm gonna weld it on the Prius. I don't know if you guys weren't listening. The last live that I did in the woods, we have a project potentially in the works where it's like what do you call that? It's not. We don't have a GoFundMe for it, but it's like one of those like startup projects for the Prius, so that it fits the channel better. So what we want to do is we want to do a Cummins diesel engine swap in the Prius. So we'll take out the hybrid battery. We'll put in a Cummins diesel engine in the Prius. We're going to put a lift kit on it, 36-inch mutters, right? Some side steps, and we'll leave the Prius body the way it is. And I think that would be the ultimate adventure vehicle. No? I mean, narrow enough to get down most trails in the woods, but, you know, rugged enough to make it through those trails. So this will be the official Encrypted Connections vehicle. So I need all of you to start donating, thousands if you can. Right now, it's probably going to cost around 40 grand. So, you know, shell it out. Let's not be cheap here, folks.
They do a Kickstarter, right? They do a Kickstarter.
Kickstarter. That's what I was looking for. That's right.
That'd work. You don't like DeLoreans?
DeLoreans? I would love a DeLorean.
Well, you can time travel too if you get in a bad spot.
I would love a DeLorean. I'm such a Back to the Future like freak. I love that movie so much. If somebody like donated to me a old rusty DeLorean, I would drive that thing everywhere. I'd put a food processor on the back like they did in the beginning of Back to the Future 2. Remember, he was feeding bananas and beer cans into it. Oh, that was great. Yep, come and swap. 6-inch lift, 35 by 12, 50 mud terrains. That's right. That's going to be the baddest Prius on the planet. The problem is that you then lose the gas mileage, right? I mean, the great thing about the Prius is 45 miles per gallon, bitch. Like, you know, that's what the good thing about the Prius is. You put a Cummins diesel in there, and that's all going down the hill real quick. But anyway, again, way off topic. What happens here?
I don't know.
What happens here?
We almost got back to the cryptids, and
I guess it just goes where it goes, right? Like The
Yeah.
chat talks, we talk. It just goes where it needs to go. Who cares what happens if everyone's having a good time? Who cares?
See, one of these Sasquatches on front of your Prius, turn in the right direction. It'd be kind of like a rudder, to keep you from, going side to side. It'd keep you straight in the road.
Right. Well, I could even put it on the back and have like a rope attached to it where I could use it like a rudder, where I could do this with
Yeah,
it.
exactly. Yeah.
Right. I think that would be a good idea. We could make that work. We have to give this thing a name. This vehicle. It have to have a special name, right? Like how come Hellbent has all the cool names?
I
The
know.
Hollercopter.
I
Like,
know.
come on. Why do they get all the cool stuff? I should have named my channel something where I could mess with the name a little bit, You can't really mess with the name of this channel. It doesn't really lend itself to that.
Yeah. Yeah. Martin calls his vehicle the Beast. We named it that. And then I just named my truck the other day. It's the Beastmaster.
I love it. I love it.
My
What
old
is it?
truck was called the Ghost. It was white, so we called it the Ghost.
Oh yeah, I had a old what was that thing? Is it Cavalier? Chevy Cavalier, I think. It was white, and I called it the Phantom.
Oh,
The Phantom, because I didn't want anyone to see it.
Salty said call it Greta, and he'll help sponsor it.
Call it Greta. Oh,
Greta.
Oh, that's great. Littlefoot. Mike says Littlefoot. Yeah, that Mach 1 you got is seriously amazing. That's for sure. That thing is beautiful. Henry, are you donating that? Is that what you're saying? You're donating a black F-150 to this program? We could start there with that, and instead of starting with a Prius, we may be a little bit ahead of the ball in that department. Then
He's describing my truck, and I was going to call it Black Betty at one time.
Whoa, Black
or
Betty.
Ram Jam, one or the other. But I thought the Beastmaster may be more.
I like the Beastmaster. I like the Beastmaster. Yeah. The joke about the Prius is that, like I always said, it's less of a car and more of a an electric motorized womb. It's more built for like a fetus to grow in than to be on the road. It's less of a car, more of somewhere where a baby would reside when it's developing into a human being. Surprisingly enough, though, it has a lot of room in it. Like I'm a big dude. Like I'm not a small guy, and that car, like I sit very comfortably in that thing, more comfortable than even in some of the Jeeps that I've had, which you would think it'd be the total opposite, but no, it's got a ton of leg room. So anyway, let's get back to these monsters before we run this whole thing way into the ground. I'm going to lose subscribers left and right from all I talk about is food and cars, and I'm all over the damn place. Hats, and what the hell happened here? Yeah, what about monsters, Shannon? You're right. So anyway, there is a monster in Argentina that's supposed to reside in Argentina. Nahuelito is his name. Her name, his name. I think it's his, which ends with oh yeah, it's his. Nahuelito is basically the Argentinian version of the Loch Ness Monster or Champ. There's a gentleman who went down there to do some scientific research on this. I guess he was like, he's legit a scientist and has a couple doctorates, and he had been getting reports from people that were very credible, that made him think to himself, like, something might be really going on here. And I guess he went down and he did some investigating, and over the course of some months, and what he found was some intriguing evidence that there may possibly be something to this. and coming from scientists, like that's saying a lot. Most of these scientists will say, no, it's not possible. It's not possible. But he said, there was some stuff going on down there that made him believe that there may possibly be some kind of serpent, the ancient dinosaur-like creature that lives in this lake. And apparently this lake has like underground caverns and stuff that connect to other places too, much like what they say about Loch Ness about the Loch in Scotland.
Well, what was that fish that was caught off of Africa several years ago? It was supposed to have been extinct. Coelacanth, is that how you say it?
Oh yeah, coelacanth.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, dinosaur.
It was supposed to have been extinct for millions of years.
Millions of years. Yeah, that's a dinosaur, like legit a dinosaur. I forget what era that was for. Let's look that up. Actually, that's a good point. That thing was one of the creepiest looking things I've ever seen in my life.
It was true dinosaur.
Coelacanth. Ancient group of lobed finned fish. Sarcopterygians. Nope, I don't know what that means.
Whatever you said, yeah, I agree with you.
God bless you. Extinction status. It's saying here that they're still extinct. This is ridiculous. There are only two known species of coelacanth. One lives near the Comoros Islands off the east coast of Africa, and one is found in the waters off of that matters. As of May 2020, as many as 334 coelacanth captures have been documented. Wow. So they go from extinct, like no one's seeing them ever or catching them, and then from 2020 on, there's been over 334 that have been caught.
Man.
That is incredible. They date back 420 million years ago. Is that even possible? 420. They predate the dinosaurs found in the Indian Ocean. So there you go. This 420 million years supposed to be extinct, and then and they find this thing all of a sudden in the ocean, and then no one's seen them forever, and then all of a sudden there's 334 caught from between 2020 and now. How does that happen? Is there something else going on there? That's the question.
Exactly.
I mean, there is a true program going on right now where they're working on woolly mammoths, where they're bringing them back and they're going to put them in this park, right? Over in crap, I forget where, like Siberia or something, in some park or some shit. And they're taking the DNA, they're creating the embryo, they're putting it in an elephant, and then after the elephant's gestation period, there will be a woolly mammoth baby. They're going to take those babies and they're going to put them in this park, and they're going to see how they work, and if being there with these large animals, will it bring back that, just with them being there, will then nature change to bring back large fauna and flora to help keep these creatures alive, right? Because that's kind of how nature works. And that's part of why they're doing this, to see if introducing them back into the wild, if nature will then react to them and start bringing back things that would help keep them, alive. It's interesting. I don't know how I feel about playing God and cloning things. It's a little worrisome, because then what happens next? You clone a woolly mammoth, and then what? Someone's like, oh, well, woolly mammoth, they worked, so let's try the saber-toothed tiger. Ooh. Right? Yeah. Imagine that. Right. Yeah. They'd say, no, the saber-toothed tiger doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. And until somebody gets mauled by one, and they blame it on pit bulls. And
the Jurassic Park.
Yeah, Jurassic Park. Who the hell wants that to happen? I mean, it'd be cool. Don't get me wrong. I'd love to go drive through and see some brontosaurus and, maybe a triceratops or two. Some of the more docile ones, but I don't want anything to do with velociraptors or
Oh
allosaurus or
no.
T-Rexes or any of those things. You can keep them all. I don't want them. That would be terrible, terrible, terrible. There are some truly ugly creatures in the ocean, Stitchwitch. I agree.
Oh yeah. You were talking about the Tasmanian tiger earlier. They
Yeah.
are trying to do that with its DNA. They found some DNA, and they're going to try to reproduce it.
That I'm down for. I don't think that's a bad idea. I mean, we're not talking about a dinosaur there. We're talking about something, that was it was alive in the 30s. So it's not something that would take over your planet if it was alive.
Right.
Sadly, some of these creatures went extinct basically due to because of humans over hunting and wanting their pelts or whatever.
The passenger pigeon.
The passenger pigeon, yeah.
The dodo bird.
The dodo bird, that was another cool one, yeah. Have you ever seen that? What's the name of that? But what's up, Alex? What's going on?
Hey, Alex.
What is the name? The shoebill? You ever see the shoebill? I'm going to show you a picture of this thing. You want to talk about
familiar.
You want to talk about a dinosaur? Look at the shoebill. This thing is ridiculous. It is massive.
The pointed head.
Kind of. Look at this thing. It is scary.
Wow.
Look at the face on that. That's terrifying.
Shoebill stork.
Look at this.
Wow.
Hold on. Let me show you one with its wings.
Friendly.
With its wings open. Look at the size of this monster.
Wow.
Look at that thing. So crazy, right? That is a dinosaur. And they're massive. Like, it doesn't show you there, but like, here's a picture with a guy shooting it on camera, and this will give you a better idea of how big they are.
Man,
they're massive. They are massive. They are dinosaurs. When you said the dodo bird, that was the first thing I thought was that the shoebill. Then there's those. What are those other ones? Those other crazy birds. They have that horn. That hard, like calcified, like mohawk almost goes down the middle of their head. They're alive right now. What the heck was the name? What are those things called? Damn it, I can't think of the name of them. But they're crazy looking too. I should have a 4-hour special on cats. I could do a whole special on cats. Absolutely, I could do a whole special on cats. What do you want to talk about? You want to talk about the Maine Coon? Huh? The cassowary. That's it. I knew. See, Let me tell you something. Can we just talk really quick about Alex Petikoff and his mind?
Yeah, let's do.
Okay. Alex is a very cool dude. I have never, ever, ever in my life met somebody who has a memory like Alex. It's insane. Like, the things that this dude remembers is nuts. I forget my last name sometimes. And this guy is, you throw a question out there about a bird with a mohawk, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I know what that is. The cassowary." Yeah, no worries.
Those things are dangerous too.
They're very dangerous. Very dangerous. Yeah, they're nasty things. The toucan. That's a pretty cool bird. So anyway, yeah, we could do a whole special on cats. Let's talk about cats. Let's talk about mystery cats, right? There was in England for a while. There was the Moor's cat, the black cat of Blackmore. I think this is what they called it. And and there were people saying that they kept seeing this large Black Panther-like cat over in Blackmore, England. People would take pictures. It had the long tail like a mountain lion would, and from the pictures, it looked big. It didn't look small. And then this went over for quite a while. This went on, and people kept seeing it over and over and over. And there was never really any resolution to what this thing was. I believe that there's still sightings of this creature today. And that's not the only one. I mean, there's been mystery cats of the United States. People say they see some crazy looking cat type creature, somewhere in America. And then there was the Maine monster there that they thought was like maybe some kind of wolf hybrid. They found it dead on like the side of like Route 4, I think in Maine years ago. And it had a very strange appearance to it. It had a very short snout, bulging eyes, black coat, and nobody could kind of figure out what the hell this thing was. And then there were people around that area who at the same time were having their animals taken or come up missing. Guy had one of his dogs dragged off into the woods and killed. And, it's just interesting. Like, where do these things start? How do they start? Where do they come from? If there's a black cat in the UK, how did it get there? Is it just someone's pet that got released? I mean, that's always a possibility, right? Some drug lord, they have an affinity for exotic animals. Those guys, they got all the money in the world. They're like, well, let's buy ourselves a puma, right? Let's buy ourselves a jaguar. And then they go, this isn't so fun. This thing wants to kill me. It doesn't want to cuddle. Let's get rid of it. And they just let them loose. And that's what happens. You get these things. And that's why I say Florida is probably the most dangerous state in the United States, because I think of all the drug lords that come and go from Florida, and the exotic pet laws down there are pretty laxed. So if someone told me that they saw a Black Panther in Florida, I would say 100% I believe you. And I know there's been sightings. I believe it 100%. What are you looking up right now?
I was trying to find a picture of that big black cat, but evidently it's not on my phone. I must have it somewhere else.
Oh,
I'll find it for the next show. Son
of a gun. Let's see if we can find a picture of the creature from Blackmore. Blackmore cat. Was it Blackmore? It may not have been Blackmore. I always get it confused. What's the other moors? Fresh. You live in England. Help me out here. I think it is the cat of Blackmore. The beast of Bodminmore? Is that right? Is that Exmoor? That's it. Damn it, Alex. Again, Dartmoor, son of a bitch. Alex, you want to run the show, man? I shouldn't be doing this. I should just keep just spending my time in the woods. That's all I should do. But, there's Bodminmore, there's Exmoor, there's there, and it says the investigation could not prove that a big cat was not present. So there's, couldn't Dartmoor, Exmoor, and Bodminmore. Okay, Mordor. No, not Mordor. But I mean, it's interesting. So here's one of the pictures that's from over there. This was in Dartmoor. When you look at the tail on that thing,
yeah,
that ain't no house cat, right? I mean, I've never seen a house cat with a tail like that.
Mm-mm.
No. Couple other ones here. Interesting pictures, though. Very interesting. This one to me, this is just a cat. That someone tried to say this was something. That's just a cat. I mean,
Yeah.
that looks like Princess. I feed this cat every day. That's not anything scary. Well, she can be scary, but but that tail in that first picture, that is certainly not a house cat. And here, to me, this was, I think, the best picture that I saw throughout the whole. The bulk on this thing. I mean, that right there, that to me just screams Black Panther. What do you do if you got one of these things loose? That's the issue, right? What do you do? Do they send out search parties trying to hunt it down? Because I mean, if there's one, then you don't have an issue. It's going to die at some point. But if there's something they can breed with, well, then you might have yourselves a problem.
My sister-in-law saw one at my mother and father's house. Well, it's been several years ago. And she was going to work, and it started snowing. And she backed out on the road going to go to work, and this thing crossed the road right in front of her. And so we got out the next morning. She come in and told us about it. So we got out the next morning trying to track it down. Of course, it kind of warmed up at night. The snow had partially melted, and there were several little mud spots this thing went through. And we were able to track it all the way down to the creek. But there was those little small, like baby prints right behind it. It stepped in the same track the mother did. So, we knew that something, something had bred because she had a baby. But we tracked it down to the creek, and we were all armed to the gills too, just about. We didn't know what was going to take place. But we did good until we got down by the creek, and it was a big stump. And the tracks led right up to this stump. And I'm walking along, and all of a sudden this covey of quail comes flying up around behind this stump. And I like to lost it right there. It was kind of unnerving.
Hello?
That's
I'll
my
get
phone.
it. I'm sure it was unnerving. Again, I'm gonna ask Alex, because I'm not familiar with these silly birds that we ran into when we were out in New Hampshire. But we're driving up this trail to try to find a base camp, because we got there later than we had planned. We were trying to get there before dark, and it ended up being pretty dark when we got there. So we're driving up these trails and trying to find a good one where we can have a camp, up in the woods. As we're driving up the trail, it's dark out, and I'm seeing these little birds that keep crossing the road. I'm like, what the hell are those things? Like, I'd never seen birds out at night like that. Like, most birds are at night, they're asleep. Bats come out at night. I don't see birds much. Owls maybe, but not these little crazy birds. I think they're called rough grouse.
Rough grouse.
Yeah, and he was telling me that what happens with them, that they're scary little bastards, is all of a sudden they'll start stumping their feet real hard, like
Start drumming.
You'll start drumming, and it'll give you a heart attack. Like, you don't know what the hell it is, if you're not familiar with it. Yeah, he said they scare the heck out of you. Those little birds, I'm like looking at that little thing going, that scares the heck out of you. But then I came home, and I remember I wanted to know what the hell, these guys were talking about. I remember listening to it, and I'm like, holy shit, if I was in the woods and I heard that, I'd be freaked out. But I couldn't believe it, seeing these little birds at night, just like trooping across the trail. I'm like, what in the hell are these things? Those things are anomalous creatures. We did see a giant horned owl on the way in, come flying out of a tree and then kind of glide by and land in another tree. And this thing was massive, man. He was so big. At first we thought it was an eagle. I mean, we were like, holy crap, look at the size of that thing. But then when he landed in the tree and you saw the silhouette of the head, you could see the horns on the feathers on the head that look like the horns. That was pretty neat. But
you don't see those very often.
You do not see those very often. No, you'll see the barred owls and stuff, or you definitely hear those, which was another thing that was very strange up there. Like, we didn't hear one barred owl the whole time we were there, and that's kind of odd. I mean, usually you hear them, especially in those areas, and we didn't hear one.
Oh, yeah.
It was so quiet up there sometimes, like, it was weird. I almost was more freaked out because of how quiet it was. I feel like I would have not been as creeped out if there was more sounds going on in the woods. I know it sounds weird, but like, you get this feeling when it's so quiet that, like, oh, all right, at any moment something is going to leap on me from behind. Like that's how I kept feeling when we were out there. Like these whatever's out here moves very silent, and it scared every other animal away, and that's why nothing's making noise. That's what kept going through my head. Like everything's quiet because the king is here. That's the thought I had, you know. Because what keeps other animals quiet is usually the giant predators, and I just kept in my head. I kept playing over and over. There's some Sasquatch that's creeping up from behind, and that's it. This guy's gonna lop my head off with one shot. It was just the vibe up there with that forest at night, man. It was creepy. I wish, man, like I would give anything to go back up there. I'd go right back up tomorrow if we could. It was just such a cool area, and I think if you spent enough time there, you would probably end up with some kind of activity at some point. It just seems like the perfect place, like literally the perfect place. When we saw that forest, that spruce forest, I think every one of us thought the same thing. Like they have to be in here. They have to be. Ben, you can put those flags away, brother. You could put that flag away. We won. We won, man. We won. Just saying. Yeah, again, we got way off the topic here. Man.
You were talking about the Tasmanian tiger.
Yes.
And they also had one, a Tasmanian hyena, and it's also called the marsupial wolf.
Really?
And it's supposed it was extinct. One of them was discovered in Tasmania in July of 1966. Supposed to have been, extinct for years and years. And
really?
The crazy part is the Carrs Creek critter that was known in Springfield, where I live. The artist drawing, that's the drawing that she drew, looked like that the witnesses described. And it's kind of odd that the one was found in Tasmania the same year, and then the same year that this Carrs Creek critter appeared. So there was even some rumors that somebody brought one over and turned it loose. So
wow, that's kind of weird, huh? That's crazy.
It's kind of a coincidence if you believe in coincidences.
Well, I believe in synchronicities. I believe that there's Mike said he had 3 mountain lion sightings in his backyard in Smyrna, Tennessee in the spring of 2017. Younger cat's probably 24 inches of shoulder and kind of skinny. Okay, so there you go. Mountain lions. Tennessee. I mean, is that their is that part of their natural habitat, Tennessee? I don't think so, right? They're more in like the Midwest, right? The north, like the Colorado, the Dakotas, and all that area.
TWRA, right. I think they mentioned a few mountain lions, things like that, or what they call the cougar. It's the black panther. They say it does not exist in Tennessee, but I can doubt that. I can prove that it's not true.
Yeah,
they do exist
for sure. We even we possibly saw what could have been wolf prints in New Hampshire when we were up there, which it's not, that's not too far fetched. The Canadian border was 3 miles from us. Like we weren't, then we know there's wolves in Canada. So it's not like it's any big thing but it's still something that's really cool to think about. Like, there's possible wolves up in that area. Cause they're not talked about like the moose and stuff are. It's also very intimidating to think about, wolves that give you all kind of hell. A pack of wolves will just destroy you. There's nothing you're going to do about it. I mean, you obviously, if you have a gun, you have a chance, but it's not something I'd want to run into. Salty said last time he hiked out to the Manfield ghost town with the wife, we kept stopping because we thought we heard footsteps and horse hooves traveling behind us. Only happened on the way back to the truck. That's weird. Is this a place that has like a history of like cowboys, Native Americans, or anything? I mean, I think of horse footsteps. That's what I think of. When I think of unexplained weird horse stuff is, remember, it's probably 4 or 5 months back when the gentleman who was supposed to come on the show and then never ended up coming on. He backed out, which really bummed me out. He was in West Virginia somewhere on this mountain. He was investigating this mountain near his grandparents' property or whatever that he inherited. And they were having all kinds of weird stuff happen. You know, they were hearing tree breaks, like loud trees just snapping when there was no wind, there was no nothing. They'd hear crazy footsteps, something running. And then obviously the audio, the vocals and stuff they were getting were very creepy. Well, he left a recorder out in the woods one night, and this area was home to some really bloody battles between Native American tribes and, English colonists and settlers. And on one of the recorders one night, you clearly hear, and this is at 3 a.m., mind you, on the side of a mountain, you clearly hear a horse come trotting in, right? It stops. You hear it breathe like a horse. So at first you think it's a horse. Then you hear a Native American speaking some Native American language. And what he says is, "I'm here, my friends." And then I think says something else. We couldn't make out what else. I remember translating all this. It took me like 2 weeks. And then he said something else. You couldn't quite make it out. You hear him sound like he goes down to a river and then splash some water or whatever. Then you hear what sounds like a musket shot off in the distance. And then the horse just takes off. Like that's all you hear. And then it's gone. And you hear one more gunshot in the distance, another musket. This is not rifles. This is not semi-autos. This is some old gun going off. That horse takes off. You don't hear it anymore. Then you don't hear any more of the gunshots. After that, you hear 2 tree knocks, and then you hear what sounds like very quiet samurai chatter, all on the same recording. It was one of the craziest recordings I've ever heard in my life. Because at 3 a.m. on the side of a mountain, I highly doubt there was a Native American on horseback. I mean, why? Why would there be a Native American on horseback at 3 a.m. on the side of a mountain? Like, it doesn't make any sense. The other weird thing was the sound of the water splashing. Like, it sounded like he went down to a lake or whatever. There's no lake by there. So, I mean, could have been splashing it out of a canteen or something, I guess. But, I mean, it was very strange, man. I got to find that audio and play it again for some of you guys who never heard it, because it was wild. It was wild. It seemed like there was paranormal stuff and Bigfoot stuff happening at the same place, like within a 10-minute time period. It was crazy.
If that was a residual haunting, then it's possible he could have been walking in water at the time, when this event occurred.
Exactly. And that's what I kept thinking, because I wondered if this was something that happened during one of these battles or whatever. They were following a Native American. They saw him. The gunshots go off. I wondered if he had left that recorder out there every night, if he would have caught this same thing or similar thing over and over. But he would move it from place to place. I don't know why, because that was the most to this day, I think it was the most compelling audio recording I've heard.
Wow.
And he found prints too, like right by there. I think it was like I think he said it was somewhere like in the neighborhood of like 100 yards, like to the east of that location. There's a creek, and right on the side of the creek bed there were 3 or 4, and he sent me pictures of them. There were 3 or 4 4-inch hominid looking footprints along the side of the creek. No big ones, just babies. And they look like your typical Bigfoot feet. They look, because Sasquatch footprints look human enough, but not quite human, right? There's differences. And that's what these things look like. They look like they were kind of human, but not quite. And at 4 inches long, that had to have been a really, really young Sasquatch.
Right.
You could see the dermal ridges. This was the perfect, like the side of that creek had that real moist, like almost like clay, right? So when these prints went in, the detail stayed, man. It was amazing. Some scientists think that time is cyclical. Yeah, I believe. Me and Fresh had a discussion the other day that we think that time has been sped up, if that makes any sense. Like we feel like time moves faster now than it did before. I
The
know
older
that's
you get, the faster it goes. I know that.
yeah. I mean, I just feel like time moves quicker. Like I feel like it doesn't operate the same as it did years ago. And I know that sounds crazy, but I feel like I don't know, there's something to it. Like I'm not sure how or why. I'm not a scientist. I don't know how much of this shit works apart from like just like, looking at things and feeling things, but I don't know. I feel like time moves way faster now than it used to. I don't understand why, but you talk to Fresh and he'll give you a wild explanation as to why. But a lot of it, I go, oh shit, kind of makes sense. But anyway, well, we got we went way into left field, right field, midfield. We went all over the place tonight. All over the place. I think we talked about 3 creatures.
It was a little more than 3, but
yeah. I don't care. Look,
bird.
I have a good time regardless. So
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
I enjoy this. I think that the conversations just end up going places where they're supposed to go. I come with a topic just merely to have the topic, and then generally between us and the chat, the things just go where they go.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Obviously, when you have a guest on who's on to talk about their experiences and stuff, that's different. Then you stick to that whole script, and that that's fine. But this, like when we do this stuff, man, I just let it happen. I'm not gonna force anything. I'm not gonna push anything. If we stay on track, we stay on track. If we don't. And we lost like 2 people at one point, and they came back, or 2 new people came. So I'm not upset. We're fine. We're good to go. I enjoy it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm certainly going to go look on Amazon for some adventure hats. Hey, Mike wants to know if you anything interesting in the LBL recently when you were down there. Can you even talk about it?
Oh yeah. We Ben's Seth and I'll put all their pictures. Now we're gonna kind of keep it quiet for a while, but Ben's they put all their pictures on Facebook and everything, so kind of let the cat out of the bag. Yeah, that one thing that I actually witnessed in that field. That's the only thing weird that happened while we were down there. Now I don't know if everybody else got out. Like I said, Martin got out with some of the crew. Daryl Denton got out with some of the crew. Joe and Jesse were out with the crew, and I hadn't heard anything crazy going on as far as any sightings or anything. But I'm planning on going back here pretty soon, probably in the next few weeks. I dropped my 9mm off to a gunsmith that lives down there in Bumpus Mills, and he's going to reblue it for me. And when he calls, I'm going to go back and pick that up. And then, but we're going to do a little bit more investigations. Still got a lot of ground to cover down there. There's a lot of ground.
I'm sure. Yeah, it's a big.
I want to do some call blasting. I want to set up some recorders and things like that. See if we can get something. Most time I go pretty light when we go, but I'm gonna go pretty heavy with my equipment and everything. Is next time, maybe we can get something stirred up. Maybe I don't know.
I want to come down there so bad. I just like the wolf, the dogman stuff scares the crap out of me. That freaks me out. Like the Bigfoot stuff scares me, but I can deal with that. The dogman stuff,
That's me.
I don't know about that, dude. That stuff freaks me out. I don't want anything to do with those things. Nothing.
They just the name of them is unnerving. I mean, just thinking, and I don't know if it's. I've never seen one. I've never seen a Bigfoot. I mean, I believe they're out there. I'm a teeny bit, skeptical, but once I see one, I'll be 100% on board. You know what I mean? But I've seen a few things, heard a few things that could possibly be. We're gonna have an investigation at my wife's uncle's house, probably between now and Thanksgiving, if the weather holds out good. He's got a lot of activity around his place. He's heard a lot of growling in the woods. We picked up this vocalization a few months ago, and I actually had my parabolic set up, and I was kind of facing just like a south to the south, and they had his grandson come in working on his truck down there in the garage, and he made a few little noise and all. But I was going to move my microphone to the other side of the house and kind of face it maybe in a west direction, and I just didn't do it. And we're sitting there talking, and all of a sudden we hear this thing go like it's a loud hoop, and the barred owl went crazy. I mean, they went berserk, and you could tell they were flying out of the woods, And he looked at me, and I looked at him, and he says, "What was that?" And I says, "I don't know, but I don't know if I'm going to find out tonight or not."
Yeah.
But supposedly he's seen three there on the property. Again, they were in the TVA power line right away. And I think they kind of like that because I guess it's all the high EMF that the lines produce. If it's got anything to do with it or not. The farm across the road from him, the guy that owned it years ago, back in the 50s, he actually witnessed 4 of them drinking out of his spring.
Oh,
and
shoot.
it's just directly across the field from where my wife's uncle lives. And he just walked back to check on the spring, and happened to look top the hill, and there they were. There were 2 big ones and 2 little ones. And he just kind of made an about face and tiptoed off, went back to the house. Didn't bother him, but they had been several sightings in that area.
That's interesting.
Also in the neighborhood of Carr's Creek, so this could be part of the Carr's Creek critter deal too, So.
Right.
Supposedly something broke into their barn one year, back while this Carr's Creek critter was going. It's been back in the 1960s, and something broke into tore the side of their barn out, and they heard the commotion. And he went down there with a shotgun, and whatever this thing was come out of there, and had a pig under each arm, a smaller pig under each arm, and run across the woods. So he fired a shot or 2 off at it, but it just kept on going. So he was out 2 pigs in the deal, and
jeez,
whatever it was, got in the barn, tore the barn up, and got 2 pigs.
Pigs ain't light either.
No,
not light at all. Yeah, that's interesting. I wanted to go back real quick because Fresh had mentioned something about a recent clip that's going around Bigfoot. There was a guy on a piece of machinery, an earth mover. I don't know what one you're talking about. If you have a link to it, put it in the comments. I'm not sure if it's the one that was going around a while ago where they saw this thing jump out of a tree and then take off. Is that the one that you're talking about, Fresh? And then, obviously the one before that was that Colorado one. Let's listen. If you saw that Colorado one, and full disclosure, when I first saw it, the Bigfoot lover in me wanted it to be real. I looked at it, I said, holy shit, that thing blends in so smoothly with the background there. You would believe that they would kind of have to be that way, just as a way to avoid people. So I wanted it to be real. But then the more you looked at it, it was like, okay, well, why does this Bigfoot's hair look like Barry Gibb from the Bee Gees? Why is his hair so perfectly coiffed and silky and smooth, like he's endorsing Vidal Sassoon? I believe Bigfoots probably have a really great grooming regimen. I'm sure they do. But, I don't think that they're out there with a blow dryer and they're teasing their hair and that thing literally looked like Barry Gibb. So, if you fell for that for more than 10 seconds, then I feel for you. I fell for it for about 12.
Did it talk like him too?
He sang just like him. Yeah, staying alive, staying alive. Yep. And that falsetto.
Hair like Fabio.
Yeah, just like Fabio. He looked like Fabio's brother. Yeah.
Man.
Yep. So anyway, well, let's wrap this thing up. Fresh, put the clip in the comments for me, buddy, will you? After the show's over, if you don't mind. I know it's late there in the UK, but you don't sleep. He's a vampire.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
I'd love to see that clip. I have not seen that one. I did see something today. I'll try to post a link to it on the channel. Apparently some guy said this man had pictures of Bigfoot for years and was afraid to put them out. And I think it was in one of our group chats. I'll post that link too on my channel and the community page. So check that out. It's interesting. It's very interesting. It's very clear. So, there's always that question of, okay, so why is it so clear? Why didn't this guy go closer? Why this, why that? All the same questions you always get. But anyway, Deuster, thank you as usual for being the, I don't know, at this point, you might just be the pilot. I think I'm probably the co-pilot.
I'm co-pilot.
You don't want me flying anything, bro. I'm scared to fly. You don't want me flying anything. I'll run that thing right into the ground. Bringing my parachute and jumping out as soon as we hit elevation. I'm gone. I'm gone. So anyway, guys, I'm waiting. I have some guests that were supposed to come on, and I'm waiting. One of them, we're waiting on his documentary to land on Amazon. Another one, I'm waiting for him to get back from his recent trip and expedition. And so I'm working on a couple other things. I really want to try to get a couple of the guys from this way. Lauren Coleman is somebody that I really would love to talk to. I don't even know if he's alive still. I think he is. You know Lauren Coleman? No, he's a New England guy. He coined the term the Bridgewater Triangle, and he did a big investigation into the it was a UFO crash in Pennsylvania years ago. It was a big one. It was the Kecksburg incident. I think he did a big investigation into that. He's wrote a bunch of books and stuff.
Okay.
He's a New England guy. He knows all the folklore about like up and down this area. I'd like to get him on the show and talk to him.
Oh yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yeah, he's a very interesting guy. And then there's a guy. Has anyone seen the documentary called Hoodoo Tall? Hoodoo Tall. Okay, very strange name, I understand. It's about a ranch in Arizona, and I think it's called the Bradshaw Ranch. And this ranch is supposedly very similar to other ranches, like the Blind Frog Ranch, and what's the other one there? Skinwalker Ranch. There's a documentary on YouTube. It's called Hoodoo Tall, HOODOOTALL. It's about this ranch. Some of it's a little weird. Other parts of it are very interesting. They're definitely filming UFOs above this ranch on a regular basis. There's weird prints that are showing up all over the place there. Strange audio. I mean, they're having multiple things happening like at this place. Different, Bigfoot stuff, alien stuff, potentially like paranormal stuff, all happening on this one ranch, just like these other places. So if you haven't watched it, take a look. Let me know what you think. I'm going to reach out to one of the gentlemen from that documentary to see if I can get him on the show. He's been to that ranch, and I'd like to see what he had to say about it, because I mean, they're clearly filming UFOs over that thing. They show the video. It's crazy. It's crazy. Some nights they'll get 50 of them, like in the sky. It's nuts. And they shine the laser lights at them, and sometimes these things will interact with the laser lights where they'll light up brighter after the laser light shines on it. Like crazy stuff, man. So anyway, if you're looking for something to watch, take a look. Hope just linked it in the chat.
Okay.
Anyway, that's enough for us. Let's get out of here. I'm gonna try to get some sleep. I didn't sleep last night. Just typical for me though. So whatever. It's called Bradshaw Ranch. The name of the documentary is called Hoodoo Tall. HOODOOTALL. And the link is right there, Mike. There you go, brother. All right, Dewey. Thank you, brother. Till next time. You guys have a wonderful night. I will probably be going out into the woods to those 2 new locations that I was out and scouted last week. I'll probably be going out in the next couple of days. I want to get out there. That one cliff overlook point there looked really good. I'd like to get up there and sit there for a while and see if anything moves around down there.
Yeah.
So watch out for that. All right, guys. Have a wonderful night. I'll see you next time.
Good night, everybody.